No.
Hey guys, it is Sarah Buehner back again with Ashley Jackson. And we actually were just talking after our last episode. And we're like, we should probably just record this. So you're jumping in. We are talking about astrology, human design, and gene keys. And I know a lot of people don't know this about me that follow me, but I actually, back in 2011, 2012, started to teach myself astrology. And what I was just about to tell Ashley before I hit record was that it's 11:11, by the way, here. Most of the things that I do psychically, it's because I thought it was bullshit first. So the reason I trust, so first off, with the psychic medium piece, and psychics and medium are different. All mediums are psychic, not all psychics are mediums, meaning psychic abilities. I believe all of us are intuitive and psychic and can hone those abilities like a muscle. And it's just like cooking. It's like dancing. You don't want me to professionally dance or cook for you, right? But I can do it, and it can be a part of my life. So psychics or psychic mediums that practice as that are just like professional chefs, professional dancers, in my opinion. So it's a blend of natural talent and training. And so developing my psychic and mediumship abilities was the same thing of honing those skills. And I wanted to make sure when I'm channeling spirit, when I'm talking to an angel, when I'm talking to someone's dead grandma, that I know it's that being, right? That's such an important thing. And it's such a space of integrity. But coming back to human design and astrology and gene keys, which are all ancient, they're all ancient practices for self-reflection and also just looking at how the universe works. I hesitated there because human design was channeled, I think, in like 1989, 1991, but it was channeled then. It is still ancient knowledge. So astrology, I started learning because I thought Mercury retrograde was bullshit. And I was like, there's no way the planet Mercury is messing with me. And so I started learning and I'm like, oh, this is like really like, this is a thing. And I'm like, good, it's not that. And so I just kept learning and trying to figure it out. And what I figured out was that astrology is just as complex as learning Latin, which, side note, I learned Latin as a child because most of the boys in my neighborhood were Latino, and I thought that Latin was Spanish, so I took Latin.
Oh,
thinking it was Spanish. So I learned
white
Latin.
girl problems.
It's such a white girl problem. So Latin sort of helped me with Spanish, but not much. It just makes me look really smart with medical terms now. But anyway, astrology is very, isn't it funny?
You're funny.
It's complex. Astrology is complex. And so astrology is understanding the planets and the stars. To me, it's like learning the energy. Like it's like the weather, right? You don't want to like mow your lawn if there's a monsoon out. So it's not giving your power away to astrology or to the stars or the moon, but it's understanding, hey, maybe I'll go plant my garden after the frost, right? Or I'll do this thing. And then you can look at your birth chart and say, okay, where was everything the day I was born? And for astrologers, that's really like our soul path. It's like our soul imprint. And then you can look at how it impacts to everybody else, because Ashley and I were talking about her being a Pisces and I'm a Virgo. And, I actually, I think because I've done a lot of work on the shadow of Virgo, that I get along with Pisces a lot now, but I used to not. So, and then, okay, I will stop soapboxing in a second, but human design is a sibling to astrology, and it's looking at to me, I think of it like your soul contract of your energy makeup, how you're supposed to move through the world. And it's much more of an intuitive, philosophical practice that I haven't mastered it yet. I'm still kind of learning my own. And then gene keys are extracting from human design, and you can dive in even deeper. And I've looked at mine before, and it's like spot on. It'll show you
did it, just so you know.
Did you? Okay. Tell me what you are a manifesting generator.
I just took gene keys. Oh, girl. I could literally accidentally made waffles before I went to bed last night. I mean, no, I did, but you're just saying like this shit that happens to me. It says, this is really neat. So it says hologenetic profile.
Yes.
And it shows me a picture, and then it says, genius. My deepest purpose in life is to manifest the gift of adventure.
Oh, that's so you.
To realize my purpose, I need to transform the shadow of hunger.
Ooh.
It's so deep.
Yes. Yeah. So
it's love. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say for these, and again, what I intuit from it is it's like the surface level, it'll be like, oh, that makes so much sense, but it's like a journey inward. But keep going. So for love,
Yeah. Love. It's this love. In relationships, my greatest challenge is to transform the shadow of failure into the gift of preservation.
Ooh,
In my relationships, my greatest challenge is to transform the shadow of failure into the gift of preservation. The highest expression of my heart is majesty.
ooh, that's cool.
Prosperity. I unlock my prosperity through my gift of sensitivity. I undermine my prosperity through the shadow of codependence. I
Ooh,
thrive best where my knowledge and wisdom is highly respected.
that is you. Because I feel like in the
My
last
life's work.
episode we did, it was sovereignty or entitlement. When you were talking about that, is the opposite. Like that is codependency. It's like, I need this, or it's okay, keep going.
Yeah. And I've learned to like be really I've had to like take all my idea that a man would ever have any idea of money in my life. And I've been making my own money for 12 years, like
Yeah.
actively like saying I will never have to have that codependent feeling,
Yes.
which is really interesting that I undermine my prosperity that way, which is good. But it says you're one of the world's greatest questioners. Everything you do begins with a question. So interesting. This is very cool. I love this. This is going to be fun to utilize with other people.
Isn't it fun? I love it.
Do you know anything about rising signs? While we're talking
Yes.
about this, like,
Yes.
what do you, so if I told you what mine was, you could tell me something. Here's me. I
Oh,
don't know a lot
yeah.
about astrology.
Yeah. Are you a fire rising? Something fiery, like a
How does it,
Sagittarius or
so how do I tell, like,
so?
ascendant sign? Is that the ascendant?
Yes. Yes.
My ascendant sign is Pisces.
Interesting.
So
Can,
Venus is Pisces, Mercury is Pisces,
what's your
Jupiter's
moon sign?
Pisces, the sun is Pisces. My moon sign is Scorpio.
Okay.
What does this mean?
That is okay. So basically, when you're looking at astrology, the top three are your sun, moon, and rising sign. Almost everybody knows their sun sign. And that is obviously where the sun was at in the sky, because the sky is divided into these 12 different signs. And so really, I'm being guided to say that was completely astrology and astronomy were connected until one of the churches in England pulled them apart. And if you look at all ancient societies, they looked at the stars, right? And so together, astrology and astronomy used to come together. So when you divide the sky up, that's what we're looking at, is you can see where all the planets and astral bodies are. So your sun sign is really like your personality. It's the thing outwardly that people will notice about you usually, right? So each one of us, I'm a Virgo, and you can laugh because I have like a million calendars and to-do lists and like whiteboards in my room. Things are usually pretty, organized, but not all Virgos are the same. And I'll explain that in a second too. And we all have, so there's like shadow of our signs and then the strengths of our signs. So for a Virgo, we tend to be hypercritical, judgy. We can be really big assholes, right? So I think one of the reasons that I get along with Pisces now, because there's a joke that Pisces and Virgo don't get along, is healing all of that, like that inner journey of where does this criticism come from? Hey, when you are that organized, like it stifles your life force energies, like all of that allowed me to be a higher vibrational Virgo in general. But Pisces, my best friend's a Pisces, and Pisces are amazing because you can really flow with the world. You feel the world, you sense the world. You're not going to, if you allow that essence to exist, like the 9 to 5 whatnot is just going to kill you. And there's like shadows of Pisces. People say the shadow of Pisces is laziness. I think the shadow of Pisces, or like not doing things or not getting things done, I think the shadow of Pisces is the belief that not getting things done is bad.
Yeah, totally.
And
Yeah,
I'm
like
really
if I'm not doing
simplifying
this, I'm not a good enough person. I'm not worthy
right.
unless I'm working.
Right.
This
And
is definitely the
so
battle. And yeah.
right. And all of us are all of it when you look at your chart. So all of us have all of astrology in our chart. And that's where looking at your whole birth chart is really helpful. But then, so your sun sign is the personality that most people will see. And then the moon sign is actually, it's your internal world. It's what fills you up. It's when you're feeling psychologically imbalanced, it's the thing that fills your cup. So I'm actually a Capricorn. So Capricorns and Virgo is very similar. So I like my favorite thing. I got a vacuum this weekend and I was like so freaking excited. It's like I have like 5 planets in Virgo, and then the Capricorn moon, and I'm like vacuuming and I'm like calling my mom, like, look how much dirt I got. And she's like, what is wrong with you? Like that's a Capricorn Virgo. So for you as a Scorpio, there's a lot of, and Scorpio is misunderstood too. To me, Scorpios are very deep. They're very feeling. They're very sensual and nostalgic. You're going to go, for you, what I would sense, and I know enough about you now, but not a ton. Like I'm still kind of just going through the astrology. My guess is that you really like to go deep with people. Like you are not one to have a super superficial
No, in fact, if you're surfacey, I will literally make you feel bad because I actually become disengaged on accident and I walk away. I swear.
Yes.
It's a trip. I'm like, I cannot believe I just did that to that person. And then they're like super offended. And I'm like, it's because you're boring. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just an alignment thing. It wasn't the right, it's not going to work for you. No, because there are people, we all have our different life paths, right? So I feel like there are people who their life path is going to be surface level, and they're not going to vibe with you going really deep. And, but even for yourself, it feels like I'm sensing like if you're doing something for yourself, it's going to be, you like to have like nuance to it. You like it to feel like a journey, just like your Gene Keys said.
And so I want you to go on an adventure because life is supposed to be fun.
Yeah. And then your rising sign is like your life path. And so, and again, and it's fun to look at it when you look at, okay, well then where's my moon, or where's my Mercury, where's my Venus, where's all of these, because it starts to paint a story for you. And so for you, for like your rising sign, and I almost want to pull up your chart, but I do.
You can if you want. I can send it to you. Can I? This app is so neat.
So can you text me a screenshot?
It's called CoStar, COSTAR. Yeah, I can text you a screenshot of do you want my table or the chart?
The chart itself.
The circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you start to look at the rising sign, the one takeaway here for anybody listening is find out your rising sign. You do have to know your birth time. It's based on birth time and location. And that will give you, to me, a more accurate picture of your life path than your sun sign. So for me, I'm a Sagittarius rising. So even though I have all of that earth signs are known to be not as we have a hard time being adventurous in general. I'm over generalizing, but I got it. I'll take a peek here in a second. But the rising sign, I'm a Sagittarius rising. So we're all about risk taking. We're all about adventure. We are all about all of those things. So for you, and you have a lot of Sagittarius as well. So your rising sign here is Pisces. And it looks like, so what I was feeling, so in your first house, your rising sign is where your first house starts. And there's 12 houses. So yours is actually Pisces with Aries. So you are a Pisces rising, but in your first house is also Aries. So that's the fire I'm feeling. So Aries women are in your highest form. Aries rising women are the leaders, the initiators, the creators. They're the ones that are saying, okay, this is what's going down. Whereas for me, I'm a Sagittarius rising. We're kind of just like off on the adventure. We're leading, but it's not the same. I think you can feel it when I'm saying it. It's a different iteration.
Yeah, I can feel it when you talk about it.
So
this Gene Keys thing is really fascinating too, to see how it brings like astrology or like the human design together with.
Yeah.
This is so fascinating.
And so for human design, we were talking about, I'm a projector and you are a manifesting generator. So how do you resonate with that paradigm? How does that feel for you? Like, what do you feel with your human design?
When I learned about it, it helped me understand why I had put my hand on the hot stove so many times.
Yes.
Because I always like kind of wondered, like, how come I have to do all the bad things to know what the good things are? And that was like, oh, ding. And I also, you feel from me through my throat chakra, and that's how it works. Like everything from my whole body comes out of me through here.
I feel that as you just said that. Yeah.
And I can literally heal someone or hurt someone. And I didn't realize that I could hurt someone like that until I really learned about this. That really cleared up like any idea that I would want to have anything other than like a really aware conversation with people ever.
Yes.
Like very aware, because my words can kill you. And that's actually literal. And so those are the two things I took away from it that I really loved. I also was really determined to meet what are you?
I'm a projector, and I'm a 5/1 projector.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was determined to meet a projector because I'm like, this is the person that's going to help me balance out some things and be able to work with me really well. Like we'll be able to do really cool things for the world together. I really thought that because I was like, oh, you got to find those people to have like the sun and the moon. It's like for it to orbit, you have to have the two things that have the polarity to have enough gravitas to have your own universal centers so that you can orbit around each other. And that's what a new world looks like.
Exactly. And it's a community.
More gravitas inside of yourself. Yeah.
Yes. I love that so much. And with the trying things out, that's what we were talking about. I'm pretty sure you're a 3/5. And so all of it gets really complex. We're kind of skimming over this stuff here. But what I know about 3/5s is you learn through your own experience, and then you're here to share it with the world. And so it is like,
I do think,
go ahead.
Yeah. I think you can transcend. I just want to say, I think you can transcend a lot of these. When you figure it out, you can transcend. And I don't mean like leave behind. I mean like get bigger than the idea that you have to be this one certain way. And like when I really learned about astrology, I thought like, okay, I want to be more like the Virgo. I want to be more like this person. So I'm going to I want to transcend the idea that I could get bigger than it. Right. And I think that's what all this learning is. People kind of get hung up on one thing or this. I think all of these are valuable tools to be able to utilize to feel well. If you want wellness, here's some options. And I think we'll put these in our podcast descriptions and people will be able to go do them for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
It's a jumping off point. Yeah. Go ahead.
Totally. And you can always talk to Sarah about it, right? Or me or anyone like someone that's already been through it, though. It's funner to talk about like we're doing.
It is so fun. And it's for me, like we were talking about as somebody it's my sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and something else is all in Virgo. And
oh my gosh.
My south node and my I forget the term right now. No, my north node is in Pisces actually. And so, that makes sense why I'm connecting with Pisces. But to heal that, I have looked to, and it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't like, oh, how do I become more of a Pisces? But it's how do I see where I've created boxes instead, or like cages instead of scaffolding. So you're right. It's like it's a starting place. And so it's not meant to hide. Like I really think about a lot of times with all of these healing modalities, it's like, it's not meant to disempower you. So when I first learned about projector, I was really pissed because I was like, I think, and every projector I know says that, and a lot of people want to be projectors and we're all pissed when we find out. But, so it's this theme of, and I think projectors are really misunderstood in the world because it's mostly manifesting generators talking about projectors. So a lot of the human design people aren't projectors naturally, not all of them, but a lot of them. So to me, projectors, what I heard when I first learned it was we're really only supposed to work like 3 or 4 hours a day max. And that might even be too much, that we are not energy beings. And that really upset me because I was like, very much, I enjoy the pursuit of hard work and I enjoy diving in. Like this isn't even work. You know what I mean? It's like really diving in. But what I learned was that's why I couldn't do normal 9-to-5s. That's why even as an entrepreneur, I'm not the one to have a huge group program with 50 people in it and being available all the time. And that's also why I'm not on social media all the time. It's because it helps me understand that I don't have that capacity in my body. And so for me, it's better for me to conserve my energy and show up and consult or advise or channel or intuit. And that according to human design, projectors are here to support this new paradigm in we can see the whole system and say, okay, just tweak it here, here, and here, and then keep going. And then manifesting generators are like the leaders and they're doing all the things. Generators are doing all the things too. And we can all just kind of, and there are reflectors and manifestors as well. But to me, it was like, it's not meant to disempower us. But for me, I've come around to, yes, I am a projector and I cannot do 12 to 14 hour days without severely paying for it later in my body. So
yeah, without severely having like this idea. So it's interesting that you're saying this because that's what I've leaned more into figuring out, how do I feel well
Yes.
the majority of the time. And how do I make sure that that I actually like, because a lot of people will say, I'm fine. I don't, how are you feeling? I'm fine. Well,
Right.
fine is like frustrated, interesting, neurotic energy.
Yes.
Like if you're fine, that's not well.
Right.
Like that's two different words. So I just did it's so interesting, my human design again, and it says I'm a generator. But that's really weird because the first one said manifesting generator. Isn't that weird? Anyway.
You have, so, and it also gets really complex too, of when you start to look at your gates, when you start to look at all of it, starting to weave in, are you is it an emotional or sacral? You're probably emotional.
Sacral.
Are you?
Sacral. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm super gut, like super gut. And like if my gut says this, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see, and that's where it's a
emotions.
beautiful thing to look at. And then there's also what we're programmed with. So both of my parents are manifesting generators, and all of my siblings are generators or manifesting generators. And
wow.
I'm the projector. And so I always felt like I had to keep up, and like I had to keep going, right? And I had to keep all the things. And so that's where when I learned human design, I was like, oh, I'm definitely a manifesting generator. But that was what I was programmed. That was what I was taught to do. So deprogramming that allowed me to figure that out. And I think for all of us, no matter what your human design or astrology or gene keys are, it comes back to what you and I talked about the first convo of, how does this feel when I come back to my inner compass? What feedback is this giving me in the world? Not just human design, but like, do I feel lit up here? Or do I feel depleted here? What are my emotions teaching me? What is this relationship teaching me? Does that align with what I want to create? If so, cool. If not, what do I do?
In alignment? Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you heard the episode about the glass, right? The glass was in the last episode, but
yeah.
Is this adding to the idea that I am a whole glass, that I am a free glass, that I am a whole glass, or is this adding to the idea? Like, and it's funny because I really believe some people get into those things we're talking about, and then they get really discouraged because they are like, I'm not good enough, right? Because it tells you these shadow things. And the reality is we were never actively taught how to deal with what some people would call shadows. And all I would call that is just part of being a human.
Right.
There's lots of parts of being a human, and part of being a human is understanding what we're not good at. And part of it is understanding what we're good at.
Right.
And when you take all the emotions out of it and you realize it's all just stuff, and it's all just places and things and stuff, and it's really it's very empowering and gives you a lot of freedom.
Yes.
And so if you're watching this and you want to get into this and you look it up and you become discouraged, like it's not the first time that that's happened to anyone. You're not alone, number one. And try to figure out how to make it fun. If you're discouraged over something like that, you're probably discouraged over other things in your life, and we probably have to work on fortitude. And that's real. How do you deal with challenging things and have fortitude? What is fortitude? Do you know?
Fortitude. How would I define it?
Yeah.
Of course, I went to feeling with that. To me, it feels like this energy of resilience and strength, of like standing back up. It's like an internal...
the ability to deal with hard things over and over again.
Yes.
With resiliency and competence.
Exactly.
Saying, I know that it's not what's happening. I know that it's how I deal with it that determines what happens next.
Exactly.
That it's not even like, oh, you might get a bad thing. No, how you deal with right now is what's going to happen next. Like that determines everything. And that's empowering and also really disempowering at the same time if you're not making good decisions.
Right. It's the key. It's the activator here.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And of course, for all of this, whether it's human design, astrology, intuition, living your best life, what how do you call yourself? The dream doula? Is that right?
The dream doula.
Right. So any of this, that's what people like us are here to help you with. And that's where, if you're listening to this, listen to your internal gut of, are you guided to get support from another intuitive or coach? Are you guided to go learn more about astrology or human design? Are you guided to learn more about NLP or whatever it may be? And some of this is from the last conversation we had, but listen to that internal guidance, and we're all here to support one another, right? And that's, to me, that's part of that new paradigm too, is we're all here to support. And as Ram Dass would say, we're all here to walk each other home. So just
Love
listen.
the fire
And we're
quote from
here.
Ram Dass.
Ram Dass. I know. It's so
At
fun.
the end of the day, we close our eyes and we open them and we're sitting around the fire watching all the people dance that are still alive.
That. Actually, my guides just told me that might have been, I think that was Wayne Dyer that said when we're walking each other home. But they were friends. So I'm sure they're hanging out together.
Yeah. The energy of that though is so strong.
Yes.
You can feel it. You can feel the idea that we have transcended the idea that you know what's going on here, because Sarah, nobody fucking knows what's going on here.
Nobody knows.
And if someone pretends that they do and they want to take you down a path, if you're listening to this, you probably should evaluate that. You have your own answers. I believe in you. I've got your back. So does Sarah.
Oh yeah, we're here. Yay. Well, this was so fun. And I'm so glad that we recorded our impromptu second call. This is just so exciting. If you guys have any questions, you can come find us. We'll put our contact info in the show notes, and I'm sure we'll be on here again soon. So thanks for listening.
Thank you.